Right guys, welcome back to the channel. In this one, what I'm going to be doing is fitting a set of Dura-Ace 9100 calipers, dual pivot calipers, and I'll show you the difference, and I will have a look at a pair of R8000 Ultegra calipers, which chuck them both on the scales, so you can see if there's weight saving or what you're getting for your money for the price difference between the two. So I'll go ahead and we'll crack on with it. Right, so here we have the front caliper. I'm going to change, obviously you've got 4mm on the side there to pinch your cable up. You see if you undo that, then you can see that the cable stop. You might be able to get it out of there, but the cable stop won't go back up through the plastic adjuster here. So unless you can get that cable stop off of there, you will end up replacing your inner cable anyway, because you won't be able to get that through there unless you can prise it off of there without damaging the end of the cable or it fraying. So you're better off just replacing your cable just to be on the safe side. So it's the same thing as applies to the rear. Once you cut your cable, then you go ahead to your lever end there and just pull on it without, obviously because the cable's been cut, it'll come right out, and you can see there's the cable there, so you can go ahead and pop that out and just pull the cable all the way out so it comes out from under your bar tape, and then you're ready to install your new cable, as long as your outer cables are in good condition. Right guys, so when you got your caliper just in position, before you tighten up the hex head, just go ahead and just clamp the brake blocks against the rim, obviously to make sure the caliper is roughly in the right place before you pinch up the hex head there that's holding it in place. Just pinch them to the rim. So once you've got the caliper actually mounted in position, you can go ahead just with your hand clamp them up like that, your brake blocks, and just see and get your 4mm Allen key and adjust the brake blocks so they're obviously in the right position on the rim. Obviously there's no good, so just slacken that off slightly and just adjust them until you're happy with the position on the rim. So when you've slackened your 4mm hex head off there and the pad is loose, when you clamp them up together onto the rim, make sure that they're touching on the rim, obviously in the right place, but make sure that the whole pad actually makes contact with the rim down its full length, and it's not just like the front of the pad's touching first and then the back's a few mil off. Make sure that the whole thing actually touches both sides, so when it hits the rim the whole pad is making contact, not just a certain point of the pad like the back or the front. So you can adjust that just by slackening this off enough that the pad's completely loose. So when you tighten it, when you clamp it up like so, it will move to where it should be on the rim and not just touching the front or the back. So once you've got the height right and it's touching, making contact with the whole brake pad, both sides, then you can move on to the next step. Right, so once you're happy with your pads, you can go ahead and route your cable through the top, down through the adjuster there, through your pinch bolt area, and then what you want to do is, before you put the cable in the pinch bolt, just leave the pinch bolt undone with the cable in position. Undo your adjuster here about 3 turns, something like that, and then hold your brake pads together so they're touching the rim, and then clamp up your cable. So once you've done that, you can adjust the pad, obviously that way when you hold it, when you let go of the brake blocks there with your hand, because you've adjusted that up a few sort of 3 or 4 turns, when you let go the wheel should spin, but you're more worried about the gap on this side to make sure you got the right gap with this pad, because you can adjust the drive side, as it were, pad with the 2mm Allen key in the side there on the caliper body itself there, and that just adjusts this pad away or closer to the rim. So this side doesn't move, it's just fixed there, but that screw just this side. So therefore you need the right gap here to start with before you can adjust this one, so as when you brake, it's important that the rim doesn't move side to side. They both make contact with the rim at exactly the same time, so you get no movement side to side in the rim. If you brake and you can see your wheel being moved over slightly to one side or the other, you know it's adjusted wrong, and that's no good. You need it so when you brake, they both pads are touching exactly the same time. Right guys, so here we have the caliper sets. Obviously a Dura-Ace 9100 and the Ultegra R8000. The rear calipers, these two, I'll start with those, just show you. If you look at the inside there, you see that there, obviously. You compare that to a Dura-Ace one, there's just a solid piece in there for a start. And things like the adjuster there, sorry, the pinch bolt there is different to that. Obviously it's a different colour for a start, but it's slightly different size by the looks of it. The washer is also thinner between what clamps it than that one. It's very slightly thinner. Even this behind there is slightly different to this one. Ever so slightly different behind there to that. That's got like a raised bump there. You can see the end of my finger. And that's just a flat. You can see a silver piece there around the circle. See, it's different. Also things like the nuts there, hex head nuts there, two of them. See, these are different. Washer there, all the teeth around it. Just normal flat washer. So there is obviously differences between them. Obviously on the side you just got the silver hex heads there will hold the brake pads on, the complete pads themselves. This is silver, obviously, pinch bolt. Like I said, that's silver there, whereas the Dura-Ace one, these are black. So's the back of that. So here's the front calipers. Obviously the differences that you can notice straight off just by looking at them is this piece here is different to that area there. You've got the spring goes in there like so on the R8000. On the Dura-Ace it goes down behind there, which is different. It's just subtle things that you notice that are different, how they save weight, etc., or materials used, or how it saves weight. Like I said, if you look in there, this area here is one piece. On the R8000 it's just a lot thinner, as you can see. And again, things like just the nuts are different. And obviously the washer's different. Things like that, you just notice little subtle changes in the way it's made. See, the shapes are completely different in here as well. There's a lot more material out of there, just there, than there is from there. So again, weight being saved just there alone, just minuscule amounts, but it all adds up. So right guys, as regards to the weight of the calipers, typically the video camera didn't work when I wanted to do the weights. For some reason it didn't record. But anyway, the Ultegra R8000 calipers, the rear caliper was 180 grams and the front caliper was 186 grams for those, and they're dual pivot calipers. And the Dura-Ace dual pivot calipers, the 9100s, were 161 grams for the rear and 166 grams for the front caliper. So therefore the rear calipers were 19 grams, the Dura-Ace, lighter than the Ultegra, and the front calipers were 20 grams lighter, the Dura-Ace, than the R8000 Ultegra. So the total saving between the two was 38 grams. So if you look at the price difference between the calipers, and then consider 38 grams difference, then that's a lot, you know. They're a very expensive option for basically for 38 grams weight difference. Now I've ridden the calipers, I've had them on the bike now for about a month, so I rode them, and if you, like I always say, if I was blindfolded I would never tell the difference between the Dura-Ace calipers and the Ultegra R8000. If you had the calipers, as long as you've got good, your brake cables, your inners and outers are in perfect condition, and you've got decent pads on there, brake pads, you wouldn't tell the difference. You could fit the Dura-Ace, and like I say, if you could blindfold someone, you wouldn't tell the difference. There's no difference in braking performance at all. And at the end of the day, you can only brake so hard on a bike anyway. You know, you can't just slam the brakes on. You just come straight off the bike. So you're not going to tell. You know, there's no, you know, you just can't tell the difference between the two. I mean, it's all personal preference. The Dura-Ace calipers, if you've got a certain colour bike and you want to colour match it or whatever, and you're happy to pay the money for Dura-Ace, then the Dura-Ace brakes, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic. The same as the Ultegra R8000. You know, fantastic brakes for the price. But Dura-Ace, if you're racing bikes, things like that, and you want the best, then obviously Dura-Ace, you're not going to get any better. So, but regards to normal road riding, you'd fit them and you wouldn't even notice the difference. So it's just, you know, if you're happy to pay the extra money for the Dura-Ace, then all fair and well. But other than that, you won't notice. So, hope you liked the video anyway. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Until the next video, ride safe and I'll see you then.